Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn a new chapter, chapter 8, decimals. What do we mean by decimals? Where this word has come from? Decimal comes from Latin word decimus, which means tenth. The decimal system therefore has 10 at its base, and it is sometimes also called base 10 system. 10 at its base means we divide with 10, multiply with 10, and multiples of 10 use 10, 100, 1000, 10,000 like this. What is a decimal? A decimal is a fraction that is shown as a decimal point followed by a number, tens, hundreds, thousands, etc. When we are calling decimal a fraction, so what is the similarity between these two? The similarity between fraction and decimal. What is the similarity? Fractions and decimals are similar because they are the ways to express partial number. They are expressing partial number. We use whole numbers for our calculation like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now these fractions and decimals, what they are representing? They are representing partial numbers. Let us see, for example, if you take 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is a fractional number, 3 is a numerator and 4 is a denominator. This 3 by 4 is equivalent to 3 divided by 4. So when we divide 3 by 4, what do we get? We get 0.75, which is a decimal number. Now if you take a decimal number and convert it into fraction, see here. For example, if we take 0.327, it is a decimal number, and this can be equivalent to, how many decimal places are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 zeros. So this can be written as 327 thousandths. 30 means thousand place. 0 means 10 means tenth place. 2 zeros means hundredth place. 3 zeros means thousand place. So thousand place is equal to 327 by 1000. So this is the similarity between fractions and decimals. Now let us see if there is any differences also. Children, we saw decimal and fraction, the similarity between them. Now let us see the difference between fractions and decimals. Fractions and decimals are different, as fractions tend to be simple expressions of ratios of whole number. Simple expression 3 by 4. This is a fraction. 3:4 is a ratio, equals to 3 by 4. That is a fraction. 3 is a numerator and 4 is a denominator. So it is a simple expression of ratios. They are easily converted into their reciprocal fractions. 3 by 4 easily converted into 4 by 3. That is reciprocal. So they are easily converted into their reciprocal fractions. But decimals can be used to describe long, complex and infinite numbers. So this is the basic difference between fraction and decimal. Such as value of pi. We use 3.14. When you will go to higher classes, you will learn this. Pi equals to 3.14, but actually it is 3.14285714, a complex number, infinite number. Okay, so this is decimal and the fractions differences. Now we can convert fraction into decimals and decimals into fraction. Now let us see conversion of fraction into decimal. How do we convert? Fraction is converted to decimal simply by dividing the top number, which is a numerator, by the bottom number, which is the denominator. Just see here, how do we do? Top number means numerator divided by the bottom number, denominator, and we get the decimal number. And if there is a whole number before the fractional number, then that whole number is added to the final answer and that becomes the answer. See here, for example, 4 whole 1 by 5. So this 4 is a whole number. 1 by 5 is a fraction number. So we divide 1 by 5 and what do we get? We get answer 0.2. So 4 is a whole number, so we'll add this 4 to 0.2 and it becomes 4.2. So like this, the fraction is converted into decimal number. And now we'll see how decimal is converted into fraction number. We saw the conversion of fraction into decimal. Now let us see conversion of decimal into fraction. What we do? Decimal is converted to fraction. All digits of decimal numbers, they are written as a numerator. Then we'll count the number of decimal numbers and we'll put that much of 0 as denominator with 1 on the left hand side. Followed by 1 with as many as zeros as there are decimal number as denominator. So the fraction is then reduced to the lowest possible fraction, and that is the answer. Take for example 3.44231. When we convert this into fraction, we count the decimal numbers. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll write 5 zeros and a 1. 1 followed by 5 0. So this is the fraction, and because this number cannot be reduced to further lowest number, so this is the fraction of 3.44231. So this is how decimal is converted into fraction. Now children, let us see some terms and their definitions with some examples. Decimal fractions. What do we mean by decimal fractions? Fractions in which denominators are power of 10, that is 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, etc. are called decimal fractions. For example, take numbers like 9 by 10, 75 by 100, 233 by 1000. All these are fraction decimal. They get converted into decimal number by 10,000 and so on. So these are decimal fractions. How? When we divide 9 by 10, what do we get? We get 0.9. What we get here? 0.75. What we get here? 0.233. What we get here? 0.2457. So all these are decimal numbers. So what is the definition of decimal fraction? That fraction in which denominator is power of 10, 10, 100,000, 10,000, and when a number is divided, the numerator is divided, we get decimal number. Now what is decimals? The numbers written in decimal form are called decimal numbers. When we are using a decimal in a number, that is a decimal number. It has two parts. It is a number whose whole number part and the fractional part is separated by a decimal point, and this dot, decimal is represented by a dot, is called decimal point in a decimal number. For example, if you see here, for 14.87. This is a decimal number. Now, just we said, what is a decimal number? It's a combination of whole number or dot, which is a decimal point, and a fractional part. So this 14 is a whole number part. This dot is a decimal point. And what is this? 87 after decimal. This is a decimal number. So this is decimal number part. So a decimal number consists of three parts: whole number part, a decimal point, and a decimal number part. Now, these decimals, how do we read? We read 14. 14 is a whole number. Decimal. So 14 decimal or a dot or point 87. It is not said 87. It is no more a whole number. So this is 14.87, not 87. So 14.87 with a whole number part, decimal point and a decimal number part. So this is